Hello, hello, and welcome to another session of our Cafecito Power Break. Hope you're having a wonderful start to the summer and that you're all taking care of yourselves because there's the heat wave going on and happening in certain places. So just stay hydrated and hope you're enjoying it. And today I'm very excited to welcome one of our members, Kelly Campbell. Thank you so much for being here, Kelly.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here with you today. My name, like shared, my name is Kelly Campbell, and I serve as a training instructor and Hispanic Employment Program Manager here at the Department of Veteran Affairs, and I work for the Veteran Health Administration at the Central Iowa location. I do have a background in human resources in the areas of recruitment, employee relations, engagement, and training and development. I've mostly worked in healthcare. I chose to pursue these roles at this VA Central Iowa because my heart is really centered around people. I believe in investing in people and is the most powerful way to create a lasting change in an organization. That's just kind of what drew me into training and employee engagement and development. And helping others grow is really the purpose and makes me feel like giving others that sense of belonging and giving them a chance to lead with that confidence. And right now I currently lead and co-lead several engagement efforts across our facility and also other cultural observances through my Hispanic Employment Program Manager role, and I create team building initiatives in our organization.
I love that. And you mentioned several times some key words that I just want to emphasize. And it is doing things that are aligned with your purpose and that are aligned with your passion and what you truly think that you can leave as a legacy to others, and definitely working with people and for people and to create those engaging and inclusive spaces. I couldn't agree more with, and I'm excited because that's exactly our topic of today. How do we intentionally build teams? Because many of us we work in groups, not teams, meaning it's just people that are in some way or form grouped together, but there's the siloed effect, right?
Mhm.
Everybody's just doing what they're there to do, and that's it, nothing more. But building teams in an intentional way, especially as leaders, becomes critically important, especially right now, so that there's that trust, there's that element of, to your point, of engagement and feeling like you want to go to work versus you have to go to work. So I love what you're doing. And I would love to start by hearing from you, like, what do you think drives an effective team? And what does that look like? Especially when right now we have teams that are hybrid, that are virtual, that are with high stress work environments, all of these new dynamics that I don't think we thought of 5 years ago or before COVID.
Yes, absolutely. Team building needs to be more than just like an icebreaker, especially in like high stress turnover fields like, healthcare, public service, education. It's creating moments of connection where people feel like they belong. When employees feel like their voices matter, when they're invited to show up as themselves, and when engagement is backed by like psychological safety, clear communication, that shared sense of purpose, that is where that trust starts and grows, and really collaboration really begins. For me, team building is about building that culture. It's about letting others know you matter here, and that awareness alone isn't just enough. Having that follow through where the leadership above you also believes in that mission of providing that safety and that engagement within the workplace.
I love that. And something that you just said, I think is critically important to highlight, and it is how a leader crafts these environments. And it is really, in a way, their responsibility. like everybody has some part of it and plays a part of it, but it really starts with leadership. And I just saw the latest Gallup uh, re- results from their latest report,
Mhm.
where we see employee engagement at an all-time low for, I don't know,
Mhm.
for many years, which then shows the importance of leaders to, for all of us, though it doesn't matter where we are, to start paying attention. How do we create these spaces? So, do you have any like practical examples of team building initiatives that you've seen have worked well and have made it successful?
Yes, exactly right. I would say that team building should also feel like support, not an extra burden. So employees should have that permission or encouragement from leadership to participate without guilt or that added pressure. So yeah, effective leadership is really creating those opportunities for connection and aligning these needs, fostering an environments where morale and connection can really thrive. And some examples that I can think of that been really simple with impact that has created impactful work has been just like organizing like a tie-dye team building event. We just did that in July, uh, early July, just a little bit ago. And also, I just created a vision board plan for others to come and, create this nice vision board of like goals that they want to achieve for the rest of the year, the next year. Those kinds of workshops that are like lunch and learns are half an hour, just to create that engagement and take them away from like the same routinely tasks that they're doing. Or even putting together like events like our chili cook-off, a Halloween costume contest each year, just some fun things that help them kind of like feel that work is providing that, that fun and engaging environment. And it's not just like that same old stuff that, you're doing the same thing every single day. And really, as like Hispanic employment program manager, I also get to celebrate our cultural events, such as like this year we're doing the Leyenda scavenger hunt for the whole facility. We're including our veterans this upcoming September. So I'm super excited because we also possibly get to include sponsors in that. So more to come on that. But those kinds of things really bring a sense of belonging. And even in our employees who may feel like their identity doesn't really shine through in the workplace because they may be from a different culture. So having that ability to celebrate the culture when we can is definitely something that I strive to do whenever I'm able to. And then just creating, you know, engagement series like I just working on right now, an engagement series where looking at like a larger theme, like where can I find information and events that I can create more of that sense of belonging, purpose, and appreciation. So I'm thinking about making like different things I can do this fall of like focusing on gratitude and purpose. So looking at different things that can really bring out that engagement and that focus can really bring back employees who may feel like they're burnt out or may not want to stick around. And if you tell them like, hey, you really do matter here, then they may not want to leave. They may say, okay, yeah, my employer actually like cares about me, and they don't think I'm just another worker bee. I'm not just another number. And I think that these activities aren't just like fun days. They're intentional tools for morale, trust, and retention. And when you show employees they're valued, that really changes how they show up to work. So I think it's really crucial to not like skip over engagement and activities, because yes, it may be costly, or it may just be extra revenue that you may have to pull for your organization. But that is kind of how you look at like work-life balance or retaining those employees, is by providing these kinds of activities and showing that you really do care.
I love that. And I just jotted down many of the ones that you shared, because I think many of them are definitely things that I hadn't heard before and that seem a
Yeah.
lot of fun. And it's important just to, I imagine, be creative. right? Not go through
Absolutely.
the traditional stuff. That's exciting.
Hmm.
Um, and you talk about this is not just something that is done in one day in terms of
Hmm.
doing the Halloween or the leyenda scavenger hunt,
Hmm.
which like I'm already envisioning it. It's going to be amazing. But it's something that leaders need to be intentional every day, and it doesn't require a ton of time, where sometimes people may think that it's I don't have time for this, but
Hmm.
it does take daily intentionality to build that sense of trust, to build that sense of collaboration,
Hmm.
and to make sure the team dynamics are always in that positive, engaging tone versus stressed and
Hmm.
on a negative, especially right now that things keep changing almost every day. Do you have any tips or any ideas on how can leaders foster that sense of trust and collaboration on a more frequent basis, not just on these special days?
Yes. So knowing, I working at the federal government, I totally understand what it's like to, live in that day-to-day uncertainty. So really the biggest thing is creating a space for dialogue without judgment. Leaders that really initiate honest conversations with their teams, even when it's uncomfortable, I feel like that gives it more of a sense of honest openness within their employees, that they can bring up issues when they feel like they need to speak up. They might, this could be including structured formats, like even like, facilitated discussions within the team, reflection activities that you could do, doing anonymous surveys if you feel like employees may not want to come up to you, don't feel comfortable coming up to you. You can provide that so that they can give you that feedback that you need to know to improve that team dynamics. Really uncover those root causes of tension and disconnect within your teams. But really, awareness isn't enough. Follow through is where trust really grows. When employees feel like their feedback leads to change, even in like the smallest ways, it strengthens connection and morale. It shows that leadership is listening and actually acting on those concerns. So team dynamics don't really transform overnight, like you said, but with intentionality, humility, and commitment to really focusing on that human side of leadership, you can really rebuild those like strong collaborative foundations in your workplace. And another really big challenge that I've seen we face is burnout, especially with high turnover in our federal government and among other places too. Reduction in workforce. We're seeing people take on more workloads, more shifts, longer hours, seeing more of that burnout. Sometimes even just monotony. People get stuck in the rhythm of same old stuff, and leaders must model that vulnerability and consistency in times when teams may feel like they get tired of the same work. And it's really also leading with authenticity, because, when you are facing those challenges of high turnover, burnout, or even like fatigue, being transparent really goes a long way. I know I was recently reading a Harvard Business Review article about like when leaders consistently, um, when there's consistent change and employees see that, but the leaders stay authentic and transparent among that change, employees still tend to feel like they can trust their leader and want to stick to that organization, even though there may be chaos going around it, especially when their employer still values that wellness and autonomy. It really builds that resilience among those employees. They may feel like that work-life balance is still it's still there, even though I know even recent times we've kind of drifted away from that. But I think that as long as a leader is transparent and shows that, like, hey, I know these changes are going on, but I'm here with you and we're going to get through this together. I think that goes a long way with showing that those leadership qualities. And really, team building doesn't need to be built on a big budget either. I think that, as long as you lead with intention and willing to show up and provide these opportunities, employees really need that voice to lead in that action. And even in small wins, I think that that's where that trust is built, is when you have that intention, even though your budget may not be super big to have huge events, but as long as you're trying to provide something, it's better than doing nothing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And these are great advice that you share, and a lot of very actionable things that as leaders and anybody that's a leader that's hearing us can take on a daily basis. But of course, the leader sets the mood, sets the groundwork for people, like you said, to feel that they're listened, that they're valued, that their engagement is there, et cetera, et cetera. But it's not only for the leader to do. And I've heard many people that say they're just sitting and waiting, right? They're not actively doing anything to try to change. If their leader is not doing anything, or the culture is very stressful, and they're just waiting for somebody else to do something, and therefore that is also not helping in at least moving the needle forward and creating all the spaces that you just mentioned. How can people who are not in those leadership positions can still, you know, do something to create those, at least those environments?
Yeah, that's a great point. I think really, if you have that passion to create change within your organization, I think it's really just reaching out and speaking up about, like, hey, I have these ideas. We should do this. Because a lot of the times some leaders are just kind of like not even seeing those things. They're kind of narrow. They have that attention narrowing where they just focus on the task and they don't think about other things, or they may be so busy they don't really consider the team building aspects until maybe someone says, like, hey, maybe we should consider doing some fun tasks rather than focusing so much on work. Just like, if you think that there's something that could help with those team dynamics or your organization, I would say just speak up and say, hey, we should look into this, because this would build our morale within our organization. Especially since, if, like, I know so many people that are so creative, and I would hate for them to lose that opportunity to dive into that creativity, especially since, like, a lot of the times when you speak up, you tend to get recognized. Especially, it doesn't have to always come with recognition. You're doing something good for others, but a lot of times you do get recognized, and that can always lead to promotions. Then you become a leader yourself, and then you can lead the way for others to see what you've done and help others, get there as well.
You bring up an excellent point. Sometimes I hear of people saying, I'm never going to be promoted to be a leader because my role does not entail responsibilities that require leadership skills, and therefore they feel like they're in this never ending cycle of, because I'm not showing leadership, then I don't get promoted, but the role doesn't allow me to show leader, like, then they feel that. But you're absolutely right, showing leadership in this way, in terms of encouraging activities or being proactive and making recommendations on how team dynamics can be improved, is a way of showing leadership. So thank you for bringing that up.
Yes, absolutely. And I think we all are leaders within our organizations one way or another. I mean, even if we don't have the title, I don't think the title necessarily signifies that you are like a leader. I think we are all leaders. We are always doing things that show up in leadership, or show or shine through our leadership skills. I think that we just don't recognize that sometimes because we don't have that title, right? But I think that we all have that within us to be able to lead others and show the way, even if you're not considered quote unquote a leader.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're coming to the end of this session on a topic that I think we could just continue to cut in different ways and that I think is really, really relevant. And anybody that's listening to us, whether you have a leadership in your title or you are part of a group, I think to your point, we're all leaders and we all need to be intentional about how we create these spaces. Any final thoughts, any final recommendations, advice, anything?
Yeah, I really want to say thank you so much for having me share my perspective on here. I think that if there's one thing I could share to other Latina professionals, it's just that you don't necessarily need permission to lead with heart. I think culture, creativity, and care are powerful leadership tools, and they belong at every table, whether you're working on a big project or planning a small event. I think you never underestimate how meaningful the work that you do can impact others. And I really say that every voice matters and belongs in every space. And I'm really grateful to be part of this organization and how you guys really look to, build upon our voices and share our perspectives. I really do appreciate that. And so if you are looking to connect with me, if you have any questions or would like to kind of talk about the engagement or team building piece with me, or I'm more than happy to connect with you. I mostly am on LinkedIn. I do have an Instagram, so feel free to reach out to me.
Wonderful. And definitely reach out to Kelly because she has so many other amazing things to share as well. And that's the power of this community, right? We don't have to do it all on our own. It's sharing these best practices, experiences, and advice is how we all grow. Thank you so much, Kelly, for being here. And everybody that's watching, remember, we have many things coming up. We have our Extraordinary Latina Awards already open. So if you know of an Extraordinary Latina or you want to self-nominate as an Extraordinary Latina, feel free, go to our page, unitedlatinas.com /awards, and you'll be able to do that there. Remember, the deadline is September 1st, so don't wait. We also have the top 50s over 50 awards as well within that, so make sure that you check those out. And we have a date for our virtual conference, which is going to happen October 1st, so make sure that you also save the date and register for that one, because as always, it's going to be spectacular. And finally, we have several events that are coming in the second half of the year. Coming up with one next week on capital investing, which is very important for us to understand. Many of us have no idea what that means or why it's important to us, but it is a great tool to building wealth and leave a legacy and create positive impact. So make sure that you sign up for that one as well. Kelly, thank you so much for being here with us today. Thank you for being an amazing United Latinas. And we hope that we can join again in this powerful conversation.
Yes, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Have a good one, everybody, and see you next week. Bye.
Bye.